we're live. Twitter told me we're live.
Let's get it.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Pistons Day number 1 of the week. We have 2 of them against our Pistons. And Celtics coming off a blowout. Wizards, not very good. To everyone's surprise, not good.
Entire starting lineup was out for the Wizards too, so they took a bad team and made them worse. Celtics are missing 3 of their starters, but it didn't matter because Celtics are just nasty. And Sam Hauser decided to hit 10 threes in the first 2 and a third quarters of the game before he turned his ankle, before his chance to break the all-time record. He really had a chance to do it too. The Celtics wanted him to hit 15. They definitely wanted him to break the Celtics record, but he fell one shot short of tying the Celtics record, and 5-3 short of breaking the all-time record. But Sam Hauser with just a inferno performance against the Wizards last night.
Yeah, and I thought he was definitely going to get the Celtics record. I think he had a really good crack at Klay Thompson's record with 14. I mean, think about it. He got to 10 before the 9-minute mark in the third quarter. So with just how on fire he was, 10 of 13 overall, I mean, he had a very realistic opportunity, not to mention that the game was such a blowout. It could become record hunting where they're just looking to get it to him. And so I wouldn't have been surprised if he accomplished that feat. Also, what gets downplayed in the shuffle, because look, they played the Wizards and it's all about him just hitting everything he threw up. But he also played pretty well defensively in terms of from a team standpoint and an individual perspective. So I thought last night also showcased, while understanding the opponent and the injury report, I thought it also showcased Hauser's growth into a legitimate 7th man on a playoff team, and how this is someone, we've talked about it before, in a couple of years is going to get paid.
Yeah, and it's going to suck for the Celtics when he eventually does get paid, because it probably won't be by them, right? So we've had all these conversations. Is it going to be Drew Peterson? Is it somebody in college that's going to be a sharpshooter? But for now, you can enjoy Sam Hauser and his remarkable shooting. I kind of forgot about all the record stuff yesterday. As I was listening to it in the car, I wasn't really thinking about that. Marcus Smart still lives on. All the haters are sick. He continues to be the greatest single-game three-point shooter in Celtics history, even though I don't think he shot 50% in that game, but that's neither here nor there. He still holds the record. The fact that Hauser could have got the NBA record for threes in a game is kind of unbelievable. Unfathomable that it would be somebody off the bench. Oddly enough, Duncan Robinson also had a big three-point shooting night yesterday, so it was just the day of the shooters, I guess. He was 7 of 12 in that game, so not quite as good as Hauser, but we went through, we watched him for the game recap that went up today, and the man moves so well without the ball. He's so comfortable catching and shooting, and he has such a great chemistry with his teammates. All the key rotation players with the Celtics know how to find him, know how to set him up, and they have developed this kind of rapport with him where it's just, go ahead, you have the ultimate green light. Throw it up there. We know it's going in. We know it's not even hitting the rim, and it's going to be a swish. So, good day. Good day for Sam Hauser, except for the ankle thing, which is not as bad as we initially thought.
Mm-hmm.
Hip, hip, hooray.
Adam Himmelsbach said he's not going to miss serious time, said he avoided serious injury, which is a good thing. But only 94 players have ever hit 10 threes in a game, 94 individual games have had 10 or more threes made in them. Wow. And now Sam Hauser is one of them. So credit to him for that. I was researching it for my article last night, and only a handful have had 13 have had a negative plus minus in a game. Hauser avoided that fate, but do you know who has the worst plus minus in a 10 3-point game?
Might be Marcus because they lost that game.
It is Marcus, unfortunately. Yeah, he was a minus 11 in that game, but
yep.
Sam Hauser was unconscious yesterday. Tatum and Al after the game were saying, we knew what the record was. We were conscious of it. We were ready to feed him, ready to get it to him. But the ankle injury ended his chance to make that history, which is unfortunate. Anyways, shout out Hauser. Hopefully he'll be back on the court soon. That ankle injury didn't look great at the time, but luckily it was not as bad as people thought. Speaking of Tatum, though, Tatum is just an Iron Man. He's playing in every game. If there's any game Tatum could miss or should miss or was willing to miss. It
Watch
should have
your
been
tongue.
yesterday.
Okay.
It should have been yesterday. Against a Wizards team missing all 5 of their starters, 3 of the Celtics starters already out. But he played. He played anyways, put up 30, had a great first quarter, continued it, and sat out the rest of the, latter half of the game like normal. But he said after the game, he said, I like to play. I want to play in as many games as I can. He said this time and time again. And it's great that the Celtics have a star who has that mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. He's an Iron Man. And also shout out to Tatum, because I think you saw what he's about in that game on 2 fronts. One, it easily was an opportunity for him to use his words, hijack the offense and say, this is about me getting my points today. We're going to beat this team. We got 3 starters inactive. I'm going to go off. Get me the ball every time down the floor. But he was legitimately celebrating and looking for Sam Hauser once he started to see that Hauser had it cooking in the second quarter. So credit to Tatum for his approach to the game, and that he wants to be out there all the time, especially on the road, because he understands that they have fans in other markets that don't get to see him nearly as often. I would not be surprised at all if he doesn't play on the second half of this back-to-back, but they had 2 days off before Sunday's game, and they were able to keep his minutes down. So we'll see, but credit to him for the overall approach.
I personally think it would be pretty foolish to take our Pistons lightly. They have been playing well as of late. They are no Washington Wizards, that's for sure. Tatum, if there is a Celtics game, he will be there no matter what. He is Kylian Mbappe, and rightfully so. I mean, on the broadcast, there was a cut to somebody with a sign that said, I postponed my surgery to see Jayson Tatum play. Good for him. Good on him for, showing up for these people that only get to see the Celtics maybe once or twice a year. It is an important thing. I think it's also important to treat the home fans nicely. Some that may have purchased tickets for the Pistons game today. You don't want them to have wasted money if they want to see you. It might not be me. I don't really care if I see him. I've seen him before. But as far as his willingness to play the game, it's what you want from a superstar player. He's somebody that takes it seriously every single day. He's durable. And I think playing in all these games is good for his body. Paul George has talked about this. He talked about it on the Reddick pod when he went on there last year, and they were asking him about all the load management stuff. And he's like, well, that's like really not up to us. The team doctor staff will be like, you guys have to sit, blah, 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 blah. And they want to preserve them. But he was explaining back in his younger days in Indiana when he was, in his rookie contract, they were playing 3 games of 4 nights, 5 and 7, and they would practice on the off days. Like there was no load management at all whatsoever. And they weren't really getting hurt. Like Paul Pierce played 82 games in a season after getting stabbed when the schedule was an absolute workhorse. There is definitely some sort of conditioning that goes into showing up, playing in these games, and being ready no matter what, and it helps the body for sure. That's just my take as somebody that is a maniac runner. I think if I am apt not to run, I'm going to get hurt or not be ready to run. It's just simple.
Yeah, Tatum's only missed 3 games this year. He missed the Kings game, he missed a Toronto game, and he missed an Indiana game. Other than that, he's played in every single one, and he's played a lot of minutes in most of them. He's only played fewer than 30 minutes in 9 of the games he's played in, and in all but, let's see here, all but 22. So what is that, like 40 or 30 plus games? He's played 35 plus minutes, and he's played in like 10 games with a 40 plus. He's just a maniac. He just loves playing basketball. I said this to Sam on the podcast yesterday, like not every team has stars who just want to play in every game and like will do anything to avoid sitting out. Even like Jaylen and Derek White, like they only sit out if there's something legitimately wrong and the team like makes them sit out a game. Like I don't doubt that Jaylen and Derek are on the injury report because there's genuinely something that is just a little nagging injury. And if it's the playoffs, I bet both of them would be in the lineup because they would say, I don't care that it's hurting a little bit. I want to play basketball. And the Celtics having a core group of everybody on the roster really who is like that is great for team chemistry. It's great for the on-court product, and it's just great for the vibes of the team. So credit to Tatum because it starts from the top down. And like I said at the start, the fact that he played against Jared Butler's Wizards is electric. Like good for Jayson Tatum.
Yeah, and with Derek White and Jaylen Brown, that was the first game that both of them have been out for since they traded for Derek White. So it goes to speak to them being Iron Men as well. And when it comes to Tatum, Sam, you absolutely nailed it there. I did an interview with Kiki Lyles, he used to work for the Golden State Warriors, among other teams, and is legitimately the individual credited with kind of saving Steph Curry's career, if you will, that he changed how Steph Curry moves and manipulates his body and what his routine is and all of this. And so one of the things that we talked about was Jayson Tatum, that the fact that he's out there every night helps him stay healthy, that there is a fine line. And as a professional athlete, you're kind of always rubbing up against it, and you can go over, and we know what happens if you do. But he has a relationship with some of the people in Tatum's camp and talked about how everything that Tatum does to manage himself to be out there every night is basically like the quintessential example you could hold up for how other athletes should follow. And Paul George, he talked about, you referenced him, how, going from playing and being at a 100 to then getting practice off the next day and being at a 0, he felt like that contributed to him having a hard time staying on the floor. And Tatum's approach is very different than that and has created far better results and allowed him to consistently be available for his team and for the fans.
It's important. It's important to keep yourself sharp. Like, I'm going to talk about me for a second. I'll do maybe a minute just because I can speak from experience. Like, my knee got hurt last year from probably overuse, right? But I had to inconsistently run or exercise. And now I pick up more little knocks every once in a while. And I have this ankle thing. It was a freak thing, but I wasn't getting hurt before. Now I get hurt every once in a while. And it's like, one, it's in your head because you're like, oh, am I going to be hurt? Am I able to test this today? But if you're out there every day and you're just playing through stuff and it goes away, you have that confidence too, where you're not afraid. Tatum is not somebody that strikes me as afraid to get hurt. He got that freak ankle roll in Game 7, and it's the only time I've really seen him get injured. Knock on wood, as we head into pre-playoff times here. But seriously, being out there is important. Like you said, Bobby, there's so much investigation, research, all that stuff that goes into this. Load management, I do not think is a very good thing. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense for the league. If I was a player, I wouldn't want to be load managed. You want to be out there. You want to play. You want to earn the paycheck. And like Jack said, it's great that these guys want to play, but you can't blame them. I mean, you're on the Celtics right now who are rolling over everybody. I would want to play. Even if I was getting out there and getting bullied. Like if it was just 6'3", me, who can't really jump, I would go out there. Hell yeah. Just be like, I'm on the Celtics.
Yeah, just credit the Celtics. And to Joey Spatula's point, he said one thing I love about this team is the uplifting of role players when the time is right. Mm-hmm. This is something else the Celtics have done well because, like Bobby was talking about, like Tatum could have just said, all right, I'm taking all the shots. And he took his fair share, but like I don't think Tatum's ever going to be the guy to play, as Sam likes to say, at my career ball, which is a W for the way the Celtics play. And yesterday, Hauser was the story because he dropped 30, but Peyton Pritchard had a career high, 13 assists off the bench. He had 14 and 13. He was amazing. Like Sam mentioned, we were in the car driving to basketball when a lot of them happened, so we watched the assists after the game. But just his ability to control the game is incredible for a backup point guard. And I said it once, I'll say it again. The fact that they got this guy on a $7 to $8 million contract per year is ridiculous. So credit to the Celtics and credit to Pritchard for just continuously improving.
What I think we're seeing from Peyton Pritchard this season, the adjective I use, comfortable. He got the contract, and like Jack said, team-friendly deal, so that's nice. And also, he knows that whether it's the Celtics or anywhere else, that he is going to be a rotation fixture, which was not the case before. So he's comfortable. And then the other one is the confidence that came from his time with the USA select team and getting to go against the actual USA squad was something that I spoke to him about before the season, and just what that did for him in terms of learning, in terms of proving himself against some of the best in the NBA. And so now you're seeing this growth that has really stemmed from his time during the offseason, where when he's orchestrating the pick and roll, it's the prime example of how he's evolved as a playmaker, where he's able to change the tempo, keep the defender on his hip. And then how many times now coming off the pick and roll is he getting into the paint and finding the center who set the screen for easy points at the rim? You know, even there was a couple yesterday where he held on to it a little longer than he probably should have. And maybe you can get away with it because it's Washington, but he's roping the ball around for a bounce pass to Al Horford for a layup. So to me, Peyton Pritchard's growth combined with the fact that we get to appreciate more with him getting more playing time this season as a rotation staple, that what he's able to bring defensively, in particular when he's on the ball, is really nice to see the development in his game.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, he has developed an excellent chemistry with Luke Cornett. Those two have a great two-man game in the pick and roll. He always finds them, like you mentioned. I said this to Jack on the recap last night, and I'll say it again. I do not want this to happen. A lot of things would have to go poorly for this to happen. But I do feel like the Celtics could be a competitive championship-level team if Peyton Pritchard was their starting point guard. Anytime he gets extended minutes, he's filling the stat sheet. He's doing a lot of things. He's hustling. He's on the offensive glass. He's not just an offensive point guard that wants to score points or set up his teammates and make flashy plays. He's in there. He's doing the dirty work. He's trying with every ounce of his being on defense, despite being 6'3", 6'2", and being a little bit of a target on that end of the floor. He's out there to grind. And if he was out there to try and man the offense with Tatum, with Brown, Porzingis, and a healthy starting five minus the other two guards, I think he could do a good job at it. And Jack brought up that he shoots like 40% from three, not only this season with the God Squad, but forever. His whole career, he has been a reliable three-point shooter. His first season with the Celtics was the down year in 2021 when there were no fans in the stands, and he made his presence known. We were talking about Pritchard as the Kemba successor. That's what all the conversation was when he was a rookie. He's absolutely somebody that should play and get real minutes going forward. The contract is a steal, and Jack cited the CBA, so I'll let him go into that. But it's important with that. It's great, good work by Brad Stevens.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Pritchard came in the league as a rookie, Sam and I would come on the podcast and we said, how good can this guy be? Because he was getting a lot of minutes in his rookie year because it was, if anything, luckily for him, it was the one year that kind of sucked. So he just kind of got as much run as he wanted. But we were saying, like, can Pritchard turn into Fred VanVleet? And, like, at a smaller level, like, kind of, right? Like, he's a shorter guard. He's kind of scrappy on defense. I don't think he's as good of a defender as Fred VanVleet is because I don't think Fred VanVleet gets the credit due on that end because he's just short and everyone assumes he's a bad defender.
He's strong.
But he is strong, yeah. And for all the inefficiencies that are associated with Fred VanVleet, a lot of that comes with that he has just been kind of the main scoring option from the perimeter on every team he's been on. Like, realistically, that Raptors team, like, no one else was going to score from the outside but him. This Rockets team, like, he is a lot of the times just a primary shot creator on the outside. And so that's why he's so inefficient. Pritchard has the luxury of being an eighth option, so he can just take his shots in the rhythm of the offense. But I think if you put him in a position where he is the top point guard option on a Celtics team with other stars, like, I don't think the fall off would be as crazy as people think. And I mean, Sam, I know you said it, but you pay the guys, like, don't let that happen. But
yes,
if it came down to it, like, Pritchard is a far better player than a lot of people give him credit for, like y'all mentioned. And so shout out to him, shout out to the Celtics for continuously finding these players. Like, we don't talk about it that far back because we usually associate it with, like, Hauser, Cornett, role players. But, like, yeah, Pritchard at, like, the end of the draft. Shout out to Danny for that pick. And they've continuously found players at later spots. Maybe they're not the best at the end of the lottery, but later spots in the draft, they've been able to find guys, which is huge when they turn into rotation guys like Pritchard has.
Well, and it's not just finding, it's developing. And in particular, since Brad Stevens transitioned to the front office. And so you've seen a lot of turnover from the development staff, for example, but these individuals have continued to ascend from Cornett to Hauser to Pritchard. So it's very impressive. Clearly, the Celtics have a blueprint that allows these guys, and first and foremost, the players obviously deserve the lion's share of the credit, but there's obviously a game plan, if you will, for how they want them to attack their career development. And it's working really well across the board from their best players like the Tatums and Jaylen Browns, who, by the way, they're maximizing more than ever this season when they're on the court together, all the way down the roster to not even just Cornett, Hauser, and Pritchard, but even beyond it to members of the extended rotation.
The funny thing about all this is you always want to point at the Miami Heat and be like, look at the Miami Heat. They are the blueprint for finding the random guy that's going to kill you. But it's so integral to how they have been able to have sustained success despite tying up money where they tied it up. Jimmy Butler is a fantastic player, make no mistake. And he shows up when the lights are bright every year in the spring. But when they extended him for $50+ million, the first thought I had, and probably a lot of other people had, is how are they going to put talent around him? How does that make is it worth paying him all that money? How are you going to make the rest of the roster? They've done it and played money ball with these role players, second rounders, undrafted free agents, G League guys. They've picked their spots, developed them correctly, like Bobby said, and they've made them into serviceable guys to put around him. Duncan Robinson got him for nothing. Gabe Vincent, when he was there, plucked him from the G League. They have done a tremendous job of keeping their roster sharp and not paying any money to do it. And you're seeing the Celtics be able to bring in top-tier talent and have depth because they have gotten good at that. And they've realized how important it is to do. That's why anytime we're like, hey, man, what do we think of this G League guy? Is it a video that's like kind of, yeah, we're just looking for content? Sure. But it is important. When they signed Drew Peterson, the long-term outlook is important for that because you're like, oh, wait, Sam Hauser's contract is up after next season? Okay, it makes sense that they're looking to bring in a new guy. Learn how to shoot, learn how to play NBA defense, put on some muscle by the time that contract's up, and he could be ready for real minutes.
Yeah. The Celtics have done a great job of finding guys and building them up into their system, especially considering they couldn't just like throw them to the fire and develop them by giving them a ton of minutes because they already have like a solid core. So they've been great in that regard. Next thing.
And Jack, before we get to the next topic,
Please.
I mean, how can we not be discussing this and have Jordan Walsh come to mind? It speaks really well and gives confidence to what he can develop into in this system. And you mentioned with Peyton Pritchard, the contract and the collective bargaining agreement and being over a team that's going to live over the second apron for a little bit in this next, let's call it 4 to 6 years, roughly. That's extremely important as a team where it's only going to become more punitive for them over time to be able to have this pipeline that they can trust, they can tap into, from the Hausers to being able to replace him as he prices himself out of Boston, most likely, to the Cornets and the Jordan Walshes of the world. It's really important. And by the way, Nemish Queta might fit the bill as well as someone who's on a two-way deal right now that could become a Luke Cornett type of player for them in terms of minutes and where he slots into the rotation down the line, helping this team to save some money at a time when every dollar counts.
The Nemi wrinkle is really interesting, Bobby, because he is similar to Luke Cornett, but he's also different in the fact that he is kind of athletic and strong and really good on the glass, especially on offense. If they can teach him some discipline on defense, much like they had to do with Robert Williams before he became really effective, he could be a future piece, and he could be even better than Luke Cornett, which I don't think anybody is like thinking is an outrageous thought, but there is work to be done there. And, discipline, I feel like, is not the hardest thing in the world to teach. So I have significantly more hope for that than, I'm going to say it, unfortunately, Jaden Springer, who I like, but they have a lot of work to do with him because he's going to learn how to shoot. And that's a big thing that takes time. Discipline does take time, but it's a mental thing, and it can be taught just by watching other people. It doesn't have to be like getting game reps, having the confidence to take threes. It's like, no, just like learn how to defend without jumping every single time. It's a little different.
Yeah, they'll have him learn. You have Michael asking about Jaden Springer in the chat. Said, do you think they should let him play in the G League to get some burn? I wouldn't hate that idea. I think Springer has some potential. Yeah, I think so. I don't think he's.
I don't know how that works. I'm really dumb when it comes to that.
I'm pretty sure they can play him. No, I'm pretty sure they can play him in the G League. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to.
There's no restrictions on who they can send to the G League. Like if you remember going way back in the day, that Rondo at one point people talked about. I think he was coming off injury, and he was like, "I'm not doing that."
Good point. Yeah, I mean Curry's playing the G League. Yeah, good point. Good point. Tatum, G League, get the 3-pointer going before the playoffs.
Maybe not.
They sent Clay to the G League, unironically off of injury.
They did, yeah. Next Celtics thing, speaking of the G League, Isaiah Thomas, obviously we know, signed with the Salt Lake City Stars. I think that's what it's called. But then he got a 10-day with the Phoenix Suns. He hasn't played in a game for them yet, but he is back in the NBA. I was telling Sam, Bobby, my friend sent me a TikTok of like, have you heard the song like, and when I'm back in Chicago? Have you heard that song?
I have not.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. You don't have to sing that, but we appreciate you. There's a trend. I'm just gonna have to pull it up again, aren't I? God.
I mean, you're the one who
I'll show you the
introduced
trend.
me to the
Yeah,
Jared
I know, I
McCain
know.
TikTok.
Somebody made an emotional TikTok of Isaiah and got Jack. Long story short, too long didn't
little
read.
tearjerker.
It's already happening. It's already happening. I'm pulling it up. Don't.
Oh yeah,
We're too far deep.
Why do you hate?
that was a tough time to freeze.
It's only when he's talking. Sam never freezes when. Oh,
It's not the most flattering picture either.
yeah. Sam never freezes when anybody else is talking. It's only when he's talking. It was this effectively.
This people definitely wanted viewers to cry.
So yeah, that's what my buddy sent me, and it's because we were sending back and forth Derrick Rose ones because it's in when I'm back in Chicago, I feel it, which is like those get you because it is way too real. But he sent me that. Sam just texted us the Wi-Fi is freaking out, but yes, he sent me that, and I sent it to Sam. I said, you know what? I'm sorry for ever being out. Get it, bring him back. I need him back. Yeah, I'm all the way in. I'm back on the bring Isaiah Thomas back train. I'm okay with it. I would have it. I'm in. I'm in on the Isaiah Thomas back to Boston. But for now, glad to see him back in the league with the Suns.
So this is the whole thing that I wrote about coming off of that game when the Celtics were in Salt Lake City and he was playing for the G League squad, that I just think it's time that from the vibes to what the passing of time does for some of the reasons the Celtics didn't want to bring him back. You know, the questions of, do you really want to risk staining the memory of what he was in Boston when he comes back and he's not nearly that player anymore? And how will the Stars respond if he's getting more love than them while sitting at the end of the bench? And how does he handle that, knowing this is the place where he was once an MVP candidate? So there are all these questions that at this point, the answers have sorted themselves out organically. And so to me, I would bring Isaiah back. You know, if Blake Griffin, who has a better relationship with the guys on the team, is willing to rejoin, then why not go with him instead? But Isaiah, if he doesn't stick around beyond this 10-day in the desert, I think it's worth it for the Celtics, while understanding that it's Wick's money and it's expensive because they're over the second apron. I still think it's something that they can and probably should do. It might even be some meaningful karma points going into the playoffs for the Celtics, considering how things ended. So I'm fully on board with this idea. And Jack, I'll say this. I don't think he sticks around in Phoenix beyond this 10-day. I can't really figure out why they signed him outside of, we like you, so we're going to get you back in the NBA on a 10-day. It doesn't really make sense, though, that he's there.
I know Eric Gordon recently got hurt. I don't know if it's a long-term thing, but I guess you can kind of like get there with like, oh, you can kind of do what Eric Gordon does. But it is definitely weird. It does just feel like one of those former teams like being, yeah, respect, you're killing the G League. Let's bring you back for a 10-day. Seeing that TikTok was like, yeah, all in. I'm back. I'm so back. There's no reason not to, I suppose. Like my whole thing was you don't want to ruin the chemistry, et cetera, et cetera. But with what he meant to the city, the vibes it would bring, it's going to be weird that only 2 players on the roster would have played with Isaiah Thomas on this Celtics team. It would be so cool. The only downside is he couldn't wear his number, which would suck. Like that'd be annoying to see. But it'd be special stuff to see him in a
He's not really going to play. Let him wear 4 anyways. Who's it hurting?
Well, Drew Holiday.
No, but they're not going to be on the floor together.
Oh, true. Yeah, let him wear both. Yeah, why not?
Let 2 guys have 4.
Fine by me. Okay.
He said, Jack, that he has a relationship with Tatum and Brown. So it's just another reason that I think the time is right.
I'd be in. I'd be so in on a return for IT. IT wearing 37 hurt my soul. He's worn 31 before. Is 31 available? He could probably wear that. That doesn't sound like a number that's retired by the Celtics. So maybe you give him that. But I don't know. What do you wear in college? Did you wear 4 in college?
Michael's going to hate me for asking this question, but what number was Cedric Maxwell? Was he 31?
Uh-oh. I don't know what number he was. That's a great question. I don't know.
He was 31.
Oh, well, then it's retired, right? He was 30 and
Maxwell
then
might not
31.
be. Is Maxwell retired?
I don't know.
Let's give it a boot.
That's a good question. What numbers are retired Celtics? He was 31, though.
Yeah,
You're correct.
and retired.
It is, yeah. So never mind. He couldn't wear 31. Yep. Yeah. He's
73 it is.
Got it. Oh, Sam is on the phone. Wow. What a mess.
Well, I appreciate the dedication.
This is disgusting.
What happened?
The entire house's Wi-Fi just went. Oh, now it's blue. Now that I have gotten on my phone, it is back.
Okay. Are you going back?
I'll get out on the phone.
I'll be back.
Okay.
This is awful. I'm not going to curse, but this is the worst Wi-Fi collapse I've ever had.
Amazing. Incredible. Well,
Shout out to
Sam will be
Sam
back
for playing
shortly.
hurt today.
As he is getting back, we can start the Pistons discussion. I'm sure he'll want to jump in when he gets back.
Do you think that Isaiah sticks around in Phoenix through the postseason?
No. I don't think he'll be there in the postseason. I think he'll either latch on somewhere else or not.
This is it.
I just don't think. Yeah, I don't think it'll be Phoenix.
That's why I don't think the window's closed on him being able to rejoin the Celtics.
Like I said, I'm back in. I don't know. I would, if I had to put like a number on it, I'd say like 10% chance it happens.
Because you would think that they talked when the Celtics were in Utah.
Yeah.
So that he got a deal and it came elsewhere. You wonder what's up with that and what those conversations, what was said. But again, it doesn't really make sense that the Suns signed him outside of a "we like you." So I still think there's a chance.
Welcome back, Sam.
What are we talking about?
We were holding off. Now we can talk about Celtics Pistons, which I know you're probably excited about. We'll get the mood back up.
I am less excited than I was a half hour ago.
Shout out for playing hurt, though.
We'll get it back up. Celtics play the Pistons tonight. Pistons have been playing better. They had won 3 of their last 4 games before dropping 2 in a row. One on a Bam Adebayo 3-point miracle that won the Heat a game. But they had taken down the Nets, the Hornets, and the Raptors. They were taking care of business against the other poverty teams, but lost 2 back-to-back to the Heat, looking to bounce back against the Celtics tonight. Both teams on a back-to-back, home and away for the Pistons, away than home for the Celtics. But out of respect for Sam's Piston fandom and just to try to get his mood back up, Sam, I know you're going to be at the game. So are you looking forward to seeing your Pistons live?
Yeah, because you know what's great about going to the game is you don't have to rely on Wi-Fi to broadcast your games. So I will not be interrupted. Jack's tweet notifications will not dox my viewing experience, where he is minutes ahead of my bad streaming connection. And listen, the Pistons are a ton of fun. Pistons have been playing decent basketball lately. I believe they've won 4 of their last 10 at least. So like I said earlier in the show, they are no Washington Wizards. No, you are going to get a fight today. The 12-win Pistons are a hoss. Oh, they have the playoff picture up when you go look at the standings. Yes, 4-6. They have lost 2 straight. They barely lost to the Heat yesterday on a fraud Bam Adebayo heave buzzer beater, which would ruin my week if that happened to my team, which it kind of did, but they're tanking.
It did. It did happen to your team.
Yeah, no, but they're tanking. It's okay. It's okay. But you still like to see a win. I'm excited to see what the Celtics do, who plays, who doesn't play. I kind of hope Porzingis doesn't play. I don't think it's reason to trot him out there.
No tune-up before Giannis?
That's a decent point, too. Maybe play him first half or something. It's a really weird, like, I know we just spent a lot of time talking about load management and why they shouldn't be doing it, but I don't know. Put him in a padded room. Like, I don't want him getting hurt. If Porzingis gets hurt, it'll ruin my entire year. So
I think there's load management versus injury management. Like when you have a guy who's had a history of injuries like that, I feel like that's a little bit different. Like I agree. I don't think Kawhi was fully load management because he clearly has a problem getting hurt. But like LeBron and AD sitting out every other game. Like I get their old, come on. I don't know.
But another big development, Celtics wearing home whites, correct jerseys today. Good job, equipment manager. Clearly, they are taking the Pistons seriously, as they should. Pistons gave them a run for their money back in December. I'll tell you that. They weren't playing any games when they came in here on a 28-game losing streak. It was quite the game. Double overtime or just single overtime? I think it was just single overtime, but it was a good game regardless. They have good players. They just haven't got it together for whatever reason. So be careful of them actually putting together a decent performance. I know Fontecchio has been pretty good for them since he's got there. Fournier almost had 20 points yesterday. Cade, I don't know if he's playing, but has been playing well this season despite the team's record. He has been much better, and next year may be their year.
Yeah, I was going to bring up Jack Simone's arch nemesis, Simone Fontecchio, in the building tonight. I'm sure Jack will be able to chirp him during warmups. And look, Cade Cunningham still having a really good season despite all the turmoil that they've had to deal with. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, I'm not as on board as Sam is, but I like some of the pieces. And Grimes was a nice pickup for them at the deadline. That's a new wrinkle. They haven't faced him since coming over to the Motor City. And then Jaden Ivey, when used correctly, can get buckets. I'm a big fan of Duren. So we'll see. The Pistons, as Sam brought up, they're going to compete. Second night of back-to-back, but it's a mostly young team. They're going to come in and play hard, and they're going to try and see how they measure up against the best team in the league. They're going to get geeked up for this. So we'll see. The Celtics are going to have to respond.
Yeah, we don't have a update on the injury report yet, RJ. There's nothing submitted for the Celtics or Pistons, so we just don't know. But Jared says Jalen Duren would be better when he realized he can just eat the smaller opponent. Yeah, this should be a fun game. I mean, the Pistons are the Pistons. It's just fun for the sake of Sam loves them, and so we'll have something to talk about. But Celtics have done a good job of taking care of business for most of the season.
They have.
They had that scare against the Pistons earlier in the year, but I don't know. This
feels
like
a long West Coast trip.
Yeah, I feel like they've grown since then.
With the Pistons, it feels like they are playing to try and be like, look, like we are not as bad as our record is. Like we're trying to go into next year with some kind of confidence on our shoulders. And they've been playing like it. Like they have this kind of chip on their shoulder type thing where they're trying to prove it to themselves, I think, a little bit. And maybe even Monty, because anywhere he goes is just a weird player versus coach thing now, I guess. But I don't know. Keep your eyes peeled for a somewhat competitive game, I would say, especially if they start resting guys. They might sneak up on you.
Yeah. Okay. I am in the process of scouring StatHead. I have one option. Would we like to go to trivia now? Are we ready for trivia, Bobby? Is there anything else? I see a thumbs up, so I think
I'm fine with that's good with me.
I think it's time.
Alrighty. Let me pull it up. So I've been fiddling around with StatHead. I have one more loading, and if this doesn't come through and say, yeah, this is good, I will go to my backup plan. But I'm waiting for StatHead to load because it takes its sweet time. But RJ was telling me that HBTC needed to invest in a StatHead account, and I knew I had one, but I kept logging in with the wrong email apparently, and so it kept.
It's from Sports Reference.
Yeah, it's Basketball References like
premium.
Yeah.
Search feature effectively. Like I can search for right now. I'll spoiler alert. We're gonna be doing a streak. So the most games in a row with X stats. So the most games in a row.
It's gonna be hard
with something.
I'll turn off the comments.
Credit to Jack for his ability to come up with these questions. Michael Hilley gets a hat tip for the Mikhail Petrus one, but Jack,
that is his.
Produce these.
I want Iguodala.
Yeah,
I want Michael Petrus.
Air France.
Let me see. Okay, we're gonna go. I think with this one, and let me search one more thing. And if this one's bad, then we'll go to my backup. Sorry, because I have a concern about another one. But give me un momento. Filibuster for me for a second here. Wow. I've been trying
Jack
to find
is
it
bilingual.
Time, but
impressive.
Well, I did Duolingo for like 2 months and then I quit, so I wouldn't go that far.
Sam. Not next year, 2 years from now, the Detroit Pistons are in the play-in tournament or are still not there?
I think they're in it. I think they're 7 or 8. They have work to do. And like they have to like prove that they can win. it's there. The talent is there. They have good pieces. They haven't been able to put it together. Like Jack will tell you, before this season, I thought they would be like hovering around the 10-11 spot, and they just obviously fell flat after starting 2-1. So I don't know. Cade's good. Depends who they draft this year. That could go into a lot of it. And also with the draft this year not being super duper like top heavy without like a clear cut guy like Wemby, the urge to tank may not be there as much for them too. So that could play into them giving the Celtics a little bit of a fight today. But down the road, Cade seems to be ready to compete. The other guys need to fill in, and Monty needs to get them to buy in before they're actually going to be good. Which
Yeah, I think you have
sucks.
a lot of guys on that roster who they need to carve out their place in the league. Like Durant is in the process of doing so. Cade is, it's certainly established from that standpoint. And then it's just how good can he be? Where's the ceiling and what can you win with him as your best or second best player if the roster changes over time? I think that they're going to have to, at a minimum, do their due diligence on what's available for Ivy, maybe even Ivy plus the pick in the summer. Because the other thing is that their pieces don't complement each other that well.
It's true. Like there's weird, like this guy needs the ball, that guy needs the ball. And the good thing about them is the trade deadline they have kind of seems like it's going to work for them. Like we kind of talked about, Fontecchio has been good. Getting Grimes is going to be good. He's a guy that can play both sides of the ball. He can shoot threes for you and is the quintessential role player in today's NBA where 3-and-D is all you want. Get somebody that can be reliable for you as a safety valve on a star player drive and let him play defense. And that's exactly what they're going to get with him.
All right.
So they should be pumped. Our Pistons, they will return.
Future's bright.
I am ready.
Okay. Chat is off.
Chat is off. Chat is off. We're going to be doing the most games in a row with at least one block. So most games consecutively with at least one block since the 99-2000 season. So we're going to disclude all those people. We're going to do just since the turn of the century. Well, it includes the 99-2000 season, but any season, including a 2000 or future, is available up to this day. And who starts today? Who is
Bobby won.
Bobby, you're starting, sir.
Kendrick Perkins.
That was gonna be my pick.
Mr. Perkins. And as is the case with the other ones, if Perkins appears multiple times on this list, we are taking his top one and then he is off the board, just for clarification. Kendrick Perkins gets Bobby on the board with 14 games in a row with at least one block.
14.
Sam, back to you. I say back to you as if you've gone already. To you, I should say.
I'm going to take KG.
Alrighty.
I just couldn't let him hang there. I have other guesses, but I have to take him.
Kevin Garnett gets you on the board with 12.
Not bad.
Good one. Well done.
Back to you, Bobby.
Robert Williams.
Oh! I was like, there has to be some guy in there, right? Like from the recent teams. I'm
19.
like, guys.
I'm not sharing screen. Wow. You guys don't even know what's going on. My bad. You should have told me. Yeah, Rob gets you on the board with 19.
Yeah, 19.
Mm-hmm.
Devastated.
Mm-hmm. Ashton, that's a good guess. That's up there. Yeah, sorry, Michael. I got you. Scores on the screen now. I didn't know it wasn't. Joey Spatula, he's on the list, but that's not the word I would use to describe his standing on the list.
This is a big pick for me.
That is
I am on the ropes.
Michael.
I'm gonna guess Al.
Al Horford gets you on the board with. Sorry, I just switched tabs. 14.
Okay.
Oof,
all right.
done.
Good pick.
That's longer than I would have thought. And what year is this starting from, Jack?
The turn of the century. So the 99-2000 season forward. Christian, that guess is on there. It's not bad. No, Jared, that's not up there. And yes, Michael, that one's not a bad guess. It's up there.
This might open the door for Sam. This is with a 2-2 series, no less. I need to think.
The rubber match. Both those guesses are good, chat. Christian and Michael and Eli. Those are both solid guesses. Yes.
It's time for me to get hurt again.
Bobby's stressing.
I am, because the person I want to guess the most is the Brett Favre. Like, I could spin and throw it right to a defender in triple coverage, or it could be a touchdown.
Comments
Bobby,
are going crazy. We have a lot of
Michael
comments.
says, Bobby, if you win, I'll get a Michael Petrus jersey.
Hell yeah, you should do it
So
anyway.
a lot on the line.
Yeah, that's just the added fuel to the fire here, Michael.
That's a lot of games in a row. Like I have like a fun guess that I'm probably not going to end up burning, but I will keep it in the back pocket if need be.
I'll be more conservative here, and it might not even be a good guess.
Mhm.
No, you know what? I'm going to do the Brett Favre thing. This could be
You had
Tony
to. You
Battie.
teased it.
Tony Battie. All righty.
That took him no time.
Gets you 13.
I'll take it.
Yep,
You
good
could have hit
guess.
me with like 7.
Mm-hmm. Christian, that's not bad. That's up there.
Nah, there's no way. This is very difficult.
Mm.
I am shook.
Joey, that's not a bad one, relatively speaking.
The streak thing is so hard because you really just have no idea.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to guess Mark Blount or Blunt.
Mark Blount gets you 17.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
Okay.
big.
That was big.
I'm impressed. That was big.
That was a hell of a pull.
It's about time I had a clutch pull.
Mm.
I have been bad in the clutch time moments. Crazy that KG is the lowest on this list.
Yeah. Sam's down by 3 right now through 3 guesses. Joe Missoula did almost get one the other night.
Yeah, good guess, Joe.
W guess.
Al Jefferson.
I thought of him too.
Al Jefferson. I just have to make
He's
sure.
looking around.
I just have to make sure I get the highest one.
Thank you.
Al Jefferson gets you 9.
Okay. You have life.
To you, Sam.
Oh man. This is getting tough. Very tough.
Michael says, "Oh no, Michael Petrus jersey on the line."
I'd have just duffed it, Michael.
Like you would have if I had like any guesses that I felt were like ironclad, but I don't. We're at a point where I just don't trust.
That's the thing. It's pretty far down the list now.
Guy played defense, but I don't think he got blocks since 2000. Man.
Shout out Ironclad. Agree. Shout out Joey Spatulas.
I don't want to fumble. But I need a hitter. I need to hit. I have to. I have one that like I'm just sitting on like, yeah. This is gonna be the worst guess of all time if I guess this guess. I can't. I don't think that guy played him up.
Eli, that's actually not a terrible guess. I'm pretty sure I saw that name. It's not up there, but it's not like a world ender.
All right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna guess Derek White.
No. And I knew you were gonna do it there. Oh my god. I'm so nervous for what this is.
I have to
almost
take the
traded
shot.
me
I
Trevor Bauer.
don't think it's going to be as high as we think. That's
I'm
why
so
I didn't want to
nervous.
guess it.
Derek
He just
White,
gets them in bunches.
12.
See?
Oh, I tied it up.
That's
Oh
an
my God.
unbelievable guess. I'm killing myself because I was
The
gonna do him
worst
instead of
thing
Al.
is like my last guess is going to be such a laugher because it's so bad. It's the only other
Derek
name
White.
I have.
I just needed I needed him not to come to mind or you not to pull the trigger just now. I really
Derek
thought I
White
could sneak him through.
has the same number of blocks in a row in a Celtics jersey as
Garnett.
Kevin Garnett.
Yep.
Derek White's incredible, man.
I had to guess it because I felt like Jack picked this question to have that be one of the answers. Partly.
Just for the variety of player types, yes. Oh, I'm so glad. This has been amazing. Jared just goes, Sam's last guess is going to be Phil Pressey.
No, it's not. It won't.
Sorry if you were going to guess Phil Pressey, guys. I didn't mean to ruin that for you. The immersion.
He blocked somebody like good one time.
LeBron, remember?
No, he had the jump ball against LeBron. Or did he block him too?
I don't know. You're asking the wrong guy.
This is devastating. I hate this. This is I'm on the rotisserie. There's gonna be I don't know. I don't know.
And Bobby, I'm telling you this now because I've done it for you. I'm gonna tell Sam how many players are available, like that he
That's
should
right.
get to win.
It's time I reap the clutch benefits.
Which has literally no impact on the game whatsoever.
It makes you think. You're like, am I missing the most obvious one? And then you're like, yes, I am. And then you get it.
I don't know if it does.
I swear it's had 0.0
No,
impact.
I know it hasn't. I'm just giving Jack a hard time.
All right. This is more nerve-wracking to me than being the one going last with it all on the line. But
it's tough because you don't want to leave the door open. That's how I felt on the Derek White one because I was like, this will end the game if I get it wrong.
I was nervous about where Derek would fall on this list to the point that I was like, if I guess him fifth and it's a fumble, then that could cost me. I was hoping to have more. I was basically hoping you wouldn't guess Derek.
RJ, that guess isn't terrible, RJ, but it would be not good for these guys. Like it's on the list, but it's not like, yeah.
Can I tell you? I feel like whatever RJ just threw out there is what I was about to guess.
I think it might be one of my.
I don't
know.
I
We're
don't
apt
think
to
it
think
is.
that.
Yeah, I don't think it is. But you guys cook. It is you, Bobby. You let me know.
All right. I got to guess. I don't know who else I would guess, but so I'll go with Daniel Tice.
Daniel Tice.
I thought about him.
Let me just make sure I'm getting the top one. Alrighty. Yep. Daniel Tice gets you 9. Okay, let me see how many.
This is bad.
So
This
Sam
is a very
needs
winnable
9 to tie, 10 to win, and there are. Let me just do some looking.
This is awful. I wish Bobby got like a hoss, so I didn't have pressure.
I mean, the nerves right now. Like
I think there are.
beating
I
a
think there
mile
are
a minute.
6. I think there are 6 names you could guess.
There's 6 names.
To win. There's a couple more, I think, to tie, but
This is devastating because I already know I lost. The heart rate has slowed down as we prepare for a tough trip to the podium after this.
and if it is a tie, we don't play ties here. That is lame. We will go to another
We'll
round.
do another round.
Yes. Ashton, that's up there, but it's not. I don't think that one would get him to win.
This is tough. This is tough.
Michael, we'll do that on the next one. We'll do most game we'll do that for a future trivia. Just remind me, Michael, and we'll do that for one.
I did just have one pop into my head, equally as ridiculous as one of my other guesses. So we're gonna sit on that for a minute. Gotta do some quick flippage. Gotta keep flipping through. Gotta keep thinking. This is tough.
Jared, that would get him the win, yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
No, you're good.
Situation you're in. This
Especially
is
in this circumstance.
I'm gonna
That's not on
guess.
there, Joey.
I'm gonna guess Amir Johnson.
Amir Johnson gets you 8.
That is awful.
Oh,
Who are the? All right, I have other guesses that I want to
Yeah.
say before.
well,
you
let us
reveal it.
continue to guess. Sam, you can go first.
I was gonna guess Greg Stiesma.
Yeah.
He had a
he's
streak. I
10.
knew he got hot. I
10.
didn't know if that
Oh
was.
my god!
I had
I
him
was
in
too
mind.
afraid to have that be the last guess and get it wrong.
I
Gotta
was
give you 10
worried
in a
that
row.
he was just like he had an amazing short stretch of games with blocks that it didn't go that long. So props to the steamer, timing like Bill
Oh.
Russell.
Mhm.
And
You guys got the top 5. You missed the 5th. You got Rob, Mark, Blunt was second.
Where
You got Horford.
is Marcus Smart on this list?
5. Yeah, no, it wouldn't have been good. You guys missed the 5th most though. You guys
Who
missed
is
the
it?
5th most. Porzingis. He's at 13
Wow.
already.
Wow.
Good for Christopher.
It's active. That's an active streak. 13 in a row right
The
now.
Derek White one I thought was going to be my demise.
Other names that would have gotten you the win, Sam. Jermaine O'Neal at 11.
Wow.
I
Rafe
thought of him
LaFrentz.
too, but I just was like, did he play enough games?
Mhm. Rafe LaFrentz at 11.
I would not have got that one.
Brandon Bass at 10.
Really? Undersized B.
Names that would have gotten you the tie. Tyler Zeller had 9. And I
Fake
think
news.
also Paul Pierce at 11.
I started looking around at some of the wings. I didn't feel good about any
Yep.
of those guesses.
What a match. What a
Terrible.
Jared goes, to be fair, would have clowned Sam so hard if he guessed Steesman.
It's true. Like I could just think like
That's
I can't. I was like, I can't guess Stiesma. I can't
It
guess
was
Stiesma.
Stiesma.
I can't do it. The other one was
chat-
Luke Cornett, which I don't think had it.
Luke's at 6, so he wouldn't have gotten either.
But Steemsma was on my mind from the start. But
Taco was 5.
again,
RJ.
I didn't feel like he had a long stretch. So props to him.
Yeah, Stevens was up there. Porzingis was a name that wasn't said. Jermaine O'Neal, Rafe LaFrentz, Paul Pierce, Brandon Bass. The chat did get Stevesma, to their credit. I think Joey and Eli got Stevesma. But yeah, would have gotten you the win. That was good. 3-2 series now, Sam. A lot of work to do. A lot of game.
I told you it was 20-22 game 4.
I mean, back to back that come down to the end. You can't ask for anything more than that.
Time Lord
3-0.
hard carry Bobby. Yes, but he only had 2 more than Mark Blunt. And so when Sam got that too, I was like, okay, it's an even match now. It was a 1-point game.
That
Yeah,
was devastating.
That's tough. That's
That's
tough.
literally just the perk of having gone first.
If you had gotten the top option with the first guess, I would say so, but you guys didn't get the top option until you both had a chance to guess. So
I
don't
think
feel
we
as bad
both
about it.
went immediately to the names that were guessed to start.
Yeah, which is fair enough. The only reason I was worried about this because Rob had 19 and Mark Blunt was so tough in second place, but I'm glad somebody got it, so it was an even game.
That was a great pull, Sam.
Yeah, that saved the game. It kept
Mark,
you in.
I just remembered
Mark
it because
Blunt
we had
brought me to the edge of my seat.
the what is it, most blocks in a game or most blocks in a season, and that was a name that killed me on that one, so I remembered it. And Tony Battie was another one I had because that is just a blind spot for me in Celtics history. But
So that's the one when I was doing the Brett Favre thing where I was like, this could be 4 or this could be a double digit
yeah,
number right here.
Mark Blunt was?
No, Tony Battie. That's the one when I was doing the Brett Favre thing because I didn't know if that was going to be why I lost.
This is a good lifeline. I'm gonna do this. This next time you each get once a game lifeline where I have to read the last name in chat. I don't care what the name is. The last name I see in the chat, I'm gonna
That's
give you the
funny.
last name, and so you can get lucky.
Start
And it could have
that-
been
the next series.
Yeah,
okay.
I agree with that.
Okay. We'll start it next year. Remind
That's
me,
a good
Jared.
call,
Remind
though.
me
That's a
after
fun-
this.
that's a
this
fun
series
wrinkle.
3-2. Series at 3-2 now. So remind me before we start the next 7 gamer, and we'll go. But yeah, this is good. I'm glad we found the streaks. I'm glad we got the stat head cooking. But we can wrap there. Bobby, any final thoughts before we get on out of here?
No, we're on to Sam's Pistons tonight.
Yes, we are. All right. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe to How About Them Celtics. Check out Bobby's work at si.com/NBA/Celtics. And I'll let Sam wrap it up, whose Wi-Fi has miraculously turned around.
Big day for the Wi-Fi. Disgusting outing early in the show. It did give Bobby the edge. I was a little rattled at the end. I was second-guessing myself. I was like, can I really trust myself if I can't trust my internet? The answer was no, but it was actually yes because I had the winner. I just didn't use it. Sorry. I failed everybody. It was a tough day. Cramp in my forearm. My goodness. All right. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our streams. We're here live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for Talkin' C's. The pods go up Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Game recaps are on the channel every day after a game, no matter if it's in a pod or it's its own video. Make sure you check out Bobby's work for Inside the Celtics, part of SI Media. He is on the beat. He's at the games, he's at the practices. He is a great source for your Celtics coverage. At Bobby Kravitsky on Twitter is where you can find him. You can also find us via email, hbtcpod@gmail.com. You can reach out to us. Jack and I are recording the pod in a bit, so if you have thoughts about the Pistons, about the Wizards, about whatever else is happening this week, go ahead, send us an email. We will read it. You can find us on socials at How About Them C's, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. The Facebook is just the name of the pod. All of our streams are there. They're on YouTube, and they are on Twitter. Jack's Twitter is at JackSmonNBA. Mine is at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.